Welcome to the Customer Management IQ video interview series. I'm your host, Corey Bennett, and today we are on site at the 12th Annual Call Center Week. I'm joined right now by Brian O'Mara, the Vice President of National Call Centers for Safe Light Group. Brian just finished up his presentation here at Call Center Week, and it was titled, Creating an Employee Engagement Program to Enhance Customer Delight. Joins me right now to talk a bit about that. Thanks for coming on, Brian. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah. And so one of the things I was interested in regarding your presentation was average pickup time. I read that you have, on average, 11 seconds, about 2 rings, calls get picked up. 88% are picked up by the 4th ring.
Right.
What is the industry average you see, and how did you guys get there? And where was it before, and how did you get to this point?
Well, I'd have to answer that a couple ways.
Yeah.
The industry, in many cases, answers the phone first and foremost with technology, whether it be an IVRU or another forms of technology. And as a result, the customer really doesn't get to speak to a live voice until they've gone through the exercises as defined by that company.
Exactly.
In our case, we actually eliminated all the technology up front.
Oh,
we
okay.
wanted our customers to be answered purely by a live voice and without any technology. And as a result, that 11 seconds is from the time it is received by the switch to the time a live voice actually says hello. How that compares to the rest of the industry, I would say that it ranks right up there very competitively.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fair enough. Where were you guys before? I mean, I can't imagine it's always been at this low rate. What were some of the changes and best practices that you would suggest to get a lower average ring time?
Well, our goal has always been 15 seconds or less,
Okay.
which is just over 3 rings on the household telephone. We have continuously worked on staffing efficiencies and staffing models to close any gaps that may exist in our service levels. And as a result, we've just continuously been able to whittle it down to such a low level, and it's a level that we're very comfortable with because it's really not costing us any more to answer the phone that quick if you've got the bodies in the right place.
Exactly. So that touches a bit on hiring practices.
Right.
I'm interested in the hiring program that you have, which you employ to identify empathy skills in people. How do you do that?
Well, our philosophy has always been hire for personality, train for skill. We've always believed that there are certain things we just can't teach people. It's inherent in the individual. And I'll just give you, if you don't mind, I'll give you just a brief story. Years ago, before a lot of technology, et cetera, was in place, I used to conduct a lot of the interviews myself when we were very small. And as is standard with any interview, a person would come into the office and I'd introduce myself as Brian O'Mara. How are you today? And they'd say, I'm fine, Mr. O'Mara, how are you? And I'd start out every interview with a somewhat sad story. And it was the story about how this morning I had to put my dog to sleep.
Oh my goodness.
And it was a dog that the family had had for 20 years. And I would simply evaluate the individual's response. Because if a person couldn't show sympathy and empathy to me as another human being face to face, how were they ever going to do that over the phone when there's absolutely no connection? And so we've just constantly strived to look for these characteristics that are going to put our customers first.
Are you still using that story?
I do, but I don't do as much of the interviewing as I used to.
Good. One of the other things that relates to that, I know you rebranded your customer service department as the executive services department. Who came up with this idea, and who came up with the name? Well,
the name was actually developed internally between our CEO, Mr. Tom Feeney, and one of the other officers in the company. And I think it was the right thing to do because customer service became a little bit cliche. Well, this is the customer service department. Whereas we wanted our customers to have a sense or a feeling that if they had an issue, it was going to the executive level. It wasn't going to be a contact center operation that handles complaints that's tucked in a corner somewhere. We wanted them to have a sense or a feeling that everything was being elevated within our company because it literally is. Our systems are built so when issues come in, reports come out on a weekly and monthly basis letting us know exactly where they're coming from, who actually performed the issue, and what the resolution was. And we track these things religiously.
What are some of the responses you've seen on the customer end with this rebranding of the Executive Services Department?
Well, I think 2 things have happened. Number one, our overall NPS scores have gone up as a company. If you look back to 2007, our NPS scores were about 73, I believe. In 2010, our NPS scores ran at 84, which is very, very high in the NPS world. But those are only the people who you kind of know we did things right for.
Okay.
We also run this NPS survey against people who have had problems, specifically against those people, because we want to know if the practices that we have put in place are showing the sense of urgency to the customer that we're going to make it right. And so even though a person may have had a negative experience, we believe that it may be the best opportunity for us to show ourselves in the best light by correcting it and correcting it quickly. And as a result, we think we'll have a better chance of retaining them as a customer in the future because they know we'll never walk away from them.
So does NPS plateau? Do you think you can go higher? I mean, what's the strategy moving forward? Because you've gotten it to this good place.
I think our entire company philosophy is you just keep trying. You keep trying until
Fair
it
enough.
doesn't move anymore.
Yeah, fair
So we've had a good run.
Yeah.
We're very proud of what we're accomplishing and what we're doing for our customers, but complacency isn't in our vocabulary.
Fair enough. Good point to end on. Thanks so much for joining.
You're welcome.
To our viewers out there, you can check out more of our videos at customermanagementiq.com. And until next time, once again, I'm your host, Corey Bennett. Thanks for watching.